What's going on, everybody? I am Trader Joe. I'm a funded futures trader and I trade live here on YouTube every morning. If you want to learn how to trade price action, you need to be able to read a chart, identify high probability setups. So grab your notes, follow along, and let's take a look at today's trades. Here's what I saw when I started my stream this morning. Clear uptrend going. And right off the bat, it looks like we have the opportunity for a second entry long. Have a pullback first entry right here, waiting for that second pullback and a second entry, and then we can take a long. So unfortunately, there was our second entry right here. So couldn't take that above the bearish signal bar, but we still have a chance for a higher low to form. So we're going to wait for that. And no good, higher low, starting to just get kind of congested in here. Ought to wait and see if we can get a better setup. Our bullish channel over here already had a break and a new high, and we can see that we aren't really correcting here, just kind of starting to consolidate right here. So gonna look for a possible wider channel. This channel was actually called out by someone in the live stream today, and I really like it. There's, the top's fitting well. The midline looks pretty good, so we're going to use it for now. Have a really nice looking bounce right off the bottom of the channel. Great confirmation. So looking for another long, we want a failed second entry short to form. So far we have the first entry short right here. We got our second pullback waiting for a second entry short to then fail, and we can take that long. So looks like that didn't really form, and we are just kind of taking off here. So great context, but unfortunately we didn't get an entry. Prices turned down right at the midline here, and we have a pretty steep drop off. So because of all this space here at the top and how organized that selling looks, we can take a second entry short if it forms here below the EMA. So watching the bars form, we had our first entry and then a strong push above the EMA. So there is our first entry short. The second entry short, we do have a nice bearish bar, but with that strong push above the EMA, gotta hold off for a minute. And if we just advance a couple more bars, we have this beautiful lower high confirming that second entry short below the EMA. This trend is still expecting a new low. That is a high probability trade. Unfortunately, after prices pushed strongly above the EMA, I started looking at other stuff and was trying to find a range or a bigger channel or something. I missed this trade. Several folks in the live stream got it, and it was a beautiful move. Worked for a scalp. So good lesson in always keeping your eyes on the charts and trying not to get too distracted. With this strong move down, it does look like we can expect a measured move here. As prices do like to move in twos, you can always be looking out for patterns like this. Can expect to get down to this level. Obviously, we can't take a short anymore. This was our chance for entry right here. You want to enter on those correction phases, but we can start to look for the possibility of a larger bearish channel like so. So we definitely have this downtrend working. However, we hit our measured move right here. And we're starting to see some space at the bottom of the channel starting to bounce, and we still have the off chance that we get a new extreme of this channel since we had a break, looking for the possibility of a new high eventually. So context wise, this seems like a decent moment for the market to bounce. So I'm noticing this second entry short right here, which can't take as it does trigger below a bullish bar. above the EMA. Not great. And the fact that we do have space and all the other things I mentioned, we might get a bounce here. And then I'm seeing that this bar reverses instantly. So you had the second entry short trigger. This reverses instantly. This might be a second entry short that fails. And this kind of setup you often see just get a big old bullish bar. So I did note that. I didn't want to take it right into this trend line and everything, but was really expecting to see a big bounce here. And then the next bar immediately turns bearish, immediately goes below the EMA. We still are in a downtrend, and this is an excellent double trap, high probability setup. And I believe a couple folks in the live stream caught this one as well. I was just so thrown off by the possibility of a bounce that it was hard to immediately switch to a short trade. But if you're quick enough to recognize what's going on here, this is definitely high probability right at this trend line. Just trapped a bunch of longs, and it totally does work out. And only works briefly, as it does look like this move really was just to trap some of those longs, and then we're going higher again. So it looks like we do have a range forming here, something like that, and the bias is starting to get a little bit unclear with this large up channel. Still the possibility of a new high, but we also have this down channel, which does technically have a break and a new low, but starting to get in a range here. So when things are unclear but you do have a defined range, can look for failed breakouts and play range rules. So if we advance a little bit, we do have a nice failed breakout setup right here. Two solid legs back. Again, market loves to move in twos. You have two solid legs back. This channel here, there's a break and a new extreme. It's also a second entry short. So this looks like a pretty good setup. I would wait on a lower high. I didn't take this one. The bar is pretty big. If you're more aggressive, that's definitely one you could take. A lot of things going for it. But I wanted to wait on the lower high, and just drops off without giving an entry there, unfortunately. This is another interesting opportunity down here. Playing again this range. We have this downtrend already has a break and a new low. You are testing the bottom of this range, 3 touches, nice bullish bar. This is also a second entry long that forms right here. So this is a double trap, nice bullish bar. Again, if you're aggressive, that is a solid trade to take. I was waiting for the higher low. Bearish bar here, couldn't take it. Then waiting for a failed second entry short. That happens right here above this bearish bar, couldn't take it. The higher low confirmation is now a little bit too far up. Didn't want to risk that. It ends up working, but you can get burned on those. So if you're aggressive here, you could have caught that. Otherwise, there unfortunately wasn't a place to enter. And with this move up right here, going to adjust my channels a little bit. And this right here is actually a great context for a second entry long to happen. You had, the failed breakout here, a failed breakout here, this nice bullish move up. Now we're above the range here. That's a good time to see continuation. And we do have a second entry long. I don't really like taking it after this big bearish bar drops back into the range. We are above the EMA, so waiting on a higher low. That comes right here, but it's kind of this little dinky doji bar. I didn't really trust that. If that would have been a nice looking bullish bar, could have taken it, but maybe you can risk that. It's not too big of a bar, and that would have worked for a scalp, but I was holding off there. Then when you have prices form a double top right here and start to turn down, redraw the range a little bit bigger. And with this channel here, we had a break, an attempt at a new high, pushing below the EMA. If you are aggressive, you can take this lower high right here. I don't really like how it's going into this potential support. But if you are seeing that this bullish trend is played out and we really are just kind of moving into a range structure, that is a good aggressive setup. I would prefer to wait for the failed second entry long, and unfortunately it never occurs. So adjust everything here, and at this point we are definitely in a range, so only looking to play the highs and the lows, only looking for failed breakouts and confirming lower, higher lows, failed second entries. Unfortunately, that never really worked out here. This failed breakout didn't tick lower, didn't get a solid higher low or failed second entry. You don't want to trade any of this garbage in the middle. And at the top, not even a solid lower high, no failed second entry long, just drops off. So really got to be patient here. At this point, we are at the top of the range. However, not looking for a failed breakout this time. Look at all of this space at the bottom here. We never tested the bottom of the range, so really a healthy trading range needs to test the top and the bottom back and forth. So this is signifying we do have a bit of a bullish imbalance. So we could draw this channel here, and then we just continue moving higher. So this is a great example of why you need to consider imbalances in a trading range, because just as you are trying to take this failed breakout, it's going to continue higher like that. So now that we have a solid uptrend, this is the perfect opportunity to look for a second entry long. We already have our first entry, so waiting for a pullback and a second entry above the EMA, and we could take a nice long here. So here is that pullback. And right here, we get our second entry. And this is honestly just textbook. You have this uptrend, had a break, still expecting a new high, beautiful second entry. However, the signal bar is an inside bar. That's the only bummer about this. Oh, another thing too, triple test, 1, 2, 3 tests right at that same level, confirming that second entry long. Great context, worth the risk on that bar. And as you can see, it just takes off from there. So, and at that point, it is 3:30 market time. Best not to trade the last half hour of the New York session. You can get some wacky stuff, profit taking, big funds repositioning. We had a lot of great opportunities today, especially if you were willing to go for a bit more aggressive setups. And all you really need is just 1 to 2 good trades a day to be profitable here. So hope you all found that content valuable. Hope you're learning to identify high probability trades. Join me in the live stream every morning. Like, subscribe, and happy trading, everybody. Take care.